Emperor Nicholas the First of Russia had 7 children: Alexander II, Maria, Olga, Alexandra, Constantine, Nicholas, and Michael. His eldest child, Emperor Alexander II, was known as the Liberator for freeing the press and abolishing corporal punishment. In 1861, he abolished serfdom by the Emancipation Manifesto, freeing 22 million serfs, 2 years before the USA would abolish slavery. In 1867, he sold Alaska to the USA. The Russo-Turkish War of 1877 and 8 resulted in the independence from the Ottoman Empire of Bulgaria, Montenegro, Romania, and Serbia. Alexander II's wife, Maria of Hesse-Darmstadt, was rumored to be a love child, as her parents lived separately at the time of her birth. After her death, Alexander married his mistress, Catherine Dolgorukova. She and their 3 children lived at Yeligan Island Palace, today the Museum of Decorative and Applied Art and Interiors from the 18th to 20th centuries. In 1881, Alexander's carriage is bombed by the terrorist group The People's Will. Though he survives, he is hit by a second bomb when he exits the carriage to tend to a wounded. He dies bleeding to death in the Winter Palace shortly after. The Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood is built on the site of the assassination. Next, we will look at the lives of Alexander II's 3 younger sisters, Grand Duchesses Maria, Olga, and Alexandra. Maria married Maximilian of Leuchtenberg, a brother of Queen Josephine of Sweden and a grandson of Napoleon's first wife, Empress Josephine. They lived at the Mariinsky Palace, which has been the Legislative Assembly of St Petersburg since 1994. The next sister, Olga, became Queen of Württemberg when she married King Charles, but he was gay, so they had no children. The youngest sister, Alexandra, married Prince Frederick William of Hesse-Kassel, a claimant to the throne of Denmark, but died in childbirth. Next, we will look at the families of the 3 younger sons of Emperor Nicholas I, Grand Dukes Constantine, Nicholas, Michael, who all had their own palaces in St. Petersburg. First up, the family of Grand Duke Constantine, who lived in the Marble Palace. The palace had been built originally for Catherine the Great's lover, Grigory Orlov, but he died before it was complete. It was then given to the last king of Poland, Stanislaw Poniatowski, who was also a lover of Catherine the Great, and died in the palace in 1798. From 1937 to 1991, the Marble Palace housed the National Lenin Museum, and today it holds exhibitions of the Russian State Museum, including modern art. Grand Duke Constantine helped his older brother emancipate the serfs, but after Alexander's assassination, Constantine's liberal ideas alienated him from the court of the much more conservative next emperor. Unlike him, Constantine's wife Alexandra of Saxe-Altenburg was very conservative, so he took a mistress and started a second family. Nevertheless, they did have 5 children together: Nicholas, Olga, Vera, Constantine, and Dmitri. Nicholas built the Kushileva Bezborodoko, or Small Marble Palace. He had an affair with the American Fanny Lear and stole 3 valuable diamonds for her, for which he was declared insane and banished to Tashkent, today the capital of Uzbekistan. There, he built a palace to house his art collection, which can be seen today in the State Museum of Arts of Uzbekistan. In 1882, he married Alexandrovna von Dreyer, daughter of the Orenburg police chief, making him the first Romanov to marry a commoner since Peter the Great. Nicholas's sister Olga became the first queen of Greece and returned to Russia following her husband's assassination in 1913, but fled a few years later during the Russian Revolution. The next sister, Vera, married Duke Eugen of Württemberg, who was killed in a duel a few years later. Constantine's next child, also named Constantine, was bisexual, but remained faithful to his wife and fathered 8 children, including John, who married Princess Helen of Serbia, and Tatiana, who married Prince Constantine of Georgia. 2 more sons, Princes Constantine and Igor, were executed during the Russian Revolution. Next, we will look at the 3rd son of Emperor Nicholas, Grand Duke Nicholas, and his sons Nicholas and Peter, who lived at the Nicholas Palace. A lot of Nicholases. After the Russian Revolution, the Nicholas Palace was renamed the Palace of Labor to hold labor unions. Grand Duke Nicholas served as a field marshal in the Russian army, participating in the Battle of Inkerman during the Crimean War, and serving as commander-in-chief of the Danube during the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 and 8. His wife, Alexandra of Oldenburg, a granddaughter of Grand Duchess Catherine Pavlovna, was accused by her husband of having an affair with her confessor and expelled from the palace in 1879. Nicholas had 2 children with Catherine Chizovna, a dancer from the Krasnoye Selo Theater, and suffered a mental breakdown after her death. Nicholas's sons Nicholas and Peter married sisters Malika and Anastasia, princesses of Montenegro. Russia had helped Montenegro gain its independence in the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 and 8, so marriages were arranged between the Orthodox royal families. The sisters were known for their mysticism and were responsible for introducing Rasputin to Empress Alexandra, with disastrous results. Grand Duke Nicholas the Younger was commander-in-chief of the Russian army for the first year of World War I, before it was inadvisedly taken over by Emperor Nicholas II. He built the Nicholas Nikolaevich Palace, named after himself, from 1910 to 1913, making it the last Grand Ducal Palace built in St. Petersburg. Today, it is the residence of the representative of the President of Russia. Nicholas's brother Peter's grandson, named, you guessed it, Nicholas, claimed headship of the Romanov family from 1992 to 2014, in opposition to Grand Duchess Maria. Lastly, we will look at the family of the youngest child of Emperor Nicholas I, Grand Duke Michael, who lived in the new Michael Palace. The palace housed a branch of the Communist Academy and is currently the Institute of Oriental Manuscripts. Grand Duke Michael served as Governor General of Caucasia from 1862 to 82 in Tbilisi, today the capital of Georgia. He had 6 children: Nicholas, Anastasia, Michael, George, Alexander, and Sergei. The oldest Nicholas and the youngest Sergei both never married and were both executed during the Russian Revolution. Their sister Anastasia married Grand Duke Friedrich Franz III of Mecklenburg-Schwerin. He was gay and she had a son with her personal secretary. Nevertheless, their daughter Alexandrine married King Christian X of Denmark, and they are the ancestors of that royal family today. Grand Duke Michael the Younger was forced into exile for marrying Countess Sophie, but because of this exile, he wasn't executed during the Russian Revolution, but he also never got to live in the Michael Mikhailovich Palace built for him. His daughter Nadezhda married Lord Mountbatten, an uncle of Prince Philip, husband of Queen Elizabeth II. It took Grand Duke George 5 years to convince Princess Maria of Greece to marry him, and she spent most of her time abroad, which is why she wasn't in Russia at the outbreak of the revolution. George, meanwhile, served as commander during World War I and was, like his 2 brothers, executed during the revolution. The children of Emperor Nicholas I of Russia have left their mark on St. Petersburg through the marble, Nicholas, and Michael palaces they left behind.